Hi, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh, I forgot. We need to wave first. First, I told everybody, oh, we're going to wait first. And then I get out of. I get out of whatever we're supposed to do. So that's what happens when we're live. So, welcome to Michelle's Inspiration Hour Season 1 celebration. I am so thrilled to be here. And being a host of a podcast show, I love the connections. I love hearing the inspirations of everybody else. And I just love that we can talk to people in Australia, in the UK, across the United States, everywhere. And I think that, the guests that I've had on this season, I mean, they have really almost made me cry during every episode because they are so special. So, and I appreciate each and every one. And if you know me, you know that I love to celebrate and show the gratitude. So, what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to allow our guests that are here to help celebrate tell us who they are and how they're going to change the world because everybody does have a story. And then what we'll do is we'll watch a 20-minute video that shows everybody's inspiration story. So every podcast that I put on, I find a minute of inspiration that I know is really going to help others. And of course, the whole episode too, but I put everybody's inspiration into it. So I hope that you enjoy tonight. And I can't wait for season 2 to begin. I know it's going to be an awesome season. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. So tell me who y'all are. First of all, wonderful guest. Yes, we know that. But tell us who you are and what you are doing.
Hey, Michelle, Wajid, Hassan, congratulations on season 1. Very proud of you.
Thank
I
you.
wrote an Amazon bestseller in 2020 called The Struggle for World Sanity. And my mission is to let people know in the darkness of this planet that there is not only a solution, but a spiritual solution, and that we are heading for a brighter dawn, a brighter future. And so that my mission is to spread teachings of my own yogi master, but also to let people know that we can rise as one race, not a bunch of races, but as one race, and get together and send out this tremendous power which is so needed in this world. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you. And you're right. It is so needed in this world. All right, Ellen.
Wow. My name is Ellen Edmondson, and congratulations, Michelle, for your inspiration hour, and you're providing inspiration to a lot of people with what you're doing. And thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I was very blessed and happy to do that. I came on to talk about my work with highly intuitive children, which is the same as like with Michelle, because my son was on the Psychic Kids show and he was on Inside Edition. And we talked about his abilities and trying to understand it and how to help him embrace it. And that just led us on a platform of setting up a website and setting up a Facebook group and to help people with children, highly intuitive children all around the world. So we've had quite a few people joining the group and been able to give information and resources out to them. And so we're going to continue to advocate to help people understand this and to help support children. So Michelle's been instrumental in helping us get the word out, and we really appreciate it and supporting her work as well with this.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ellen. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Michael. I am the child. I don't have children, but I am the child that was dyslexic and dysgraphic and still is. And I learned from the adversity in my life where I hit the wall literally till 50. I'm kind of system relevant, but I didn't have any education. I had to teach everything myself because I didn't have education for my condition. And I couldn't regurgitate knowledge. And so I taught everything myself. And like about 5 years ago or so, it clicked. I mean, the first time it clicked when I knew that I was an artist. The second time it clicked when I realized I don't need to know everything. I don't need to be prepared for everything perfectly. And if anybody knows about dyslexia, it takes us 3 or 4 times as long to learn to do a task. So that's why my podcast is 20 seconds, but it's just it's so much work for me. Everybody else does it like there's no big deal. So I'm a better guest than I'm a host, and so I let the good hosts, do their own job. What my mission is what I unveiled, because we are all already what we are. We just have to unveil it from the system definition. I am, I think the closest description of what I am is a creative awareness educator. Creative awareness educator, because I think awareness trumps all. That is my motto, and this is my only goal. I don't have any goals. My goal is the more aware I am, the more profound and correct will be my decisions, my choices. Mm-hmm. And you can't choose really well if you're not aware. And so that's all I have to say, unless you guys have questions.
I absolutely love that, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing, because I know it's very difficult when you're, having to put yourself out there. It mm-hmm. is very difficult, and we appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
I do have one more question for you guys. I'm not going to let you go yet. While we're looking at podcasts, okay, and I know that a lot of people are trying to make their own podcast, and I feel like, why should we get on a podcast? What does a podcast mean to you? So, Wajid, why don't you tell us how do you view podcasts? Why do you think podcasts are important?
Well, it brings us closer together as a race. When I published the book, I've done over 100 podcasts from everywhere around the world. And everybody has the same in common. Everybody wants to do something to help make a change. And so Zoom and podcasts and, StreamYard and all these medias have brought us together. I mean, who would have thought that, that you could talk real time with somebody in Australia or Africa or Europe, and we can do that now. So it's bringing the world closer together. That's what I love about podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's great because it's a sharing of perspectives. And as you share perspectives, it's just like what you're saying, you get to see the commonalities among everyone, and we get to learn from each other. We become teachers, and we learn from each other's experiences. And with doing that, it helps with certain topics, it can destigmatize things, and we can normalize conversations around certain topics that people may not think about. And so I think it's wonderful in building rapport, building connection, letting people see commonalities, and just being the teachers. We're all teachers.
Absolutely. I love that last statement. Okay, Michael.
So I said that today because I was coaching somebody on leadership, and I said, we are 8 billion people on this planet, and every single person is different. Mm-hmm. And what podcasts allow you outside of systems, which we created, obviously, to connect human to human. And I think that's the power of podcasts, because we're all separated. We have to work here, there. We are separated in genders, race, now sexuality. And then everything basically negates that. When you have podcasts, all of a sudden say, oh, it's a different race. Oh, they're not different. They're exactly like we. They just look different. And different sexuality. I didn't even know, and so it's revealing what Wajid said, the one species that we are, humanity, because that's where we all the same. And that's why we don't have to save the planet. We have to save our habitat. There's a big difference. We are not above the planet, nor are we above humans. We are one part of 7 billion humans, and we have to find. And I think podcasts, first of all, make you self-aware. And then second of all, teaches you about all your reflections, because I see you guys all a reflection of me. So it's very fulfilling, which is the success in human. Success
Absolutely.
is the success in, and it's the fulfilling is the human success.
Oh, and I agree totally. And I just remember, in the 70s and the 80s, we had those radio stations.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like you couldn't see anybody, and and you had
Yeah.
to a lot of times pay for that type of program, is
Yeah.
to be on a radio station. So it's so nice that somebody coming on and learning the technology, they can actually do it. Well, okay. So thank y'all so much. I celebrate each and every one of you. And the ones that were not able to make it, I also celebrate you. And I appreciate you so much. And I just hope that everybody, stays connected, because what we're all saying here is we are here to change the world and bring some inspiration. So you ready for the video?
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring on the video. Thank y'all for coming.
Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Weird or wrong or bad about it. It just is. And people have to start talking about it. We need to get out of hiding and making something wrong with it to talking about it and embracing it. Because the more we talk about it and the parents and the adults embrace it and start to really understand it, the more we can help the future generation stay connected to their abilities. And I always think it would be amazing. They stay connected and grounded in their abilities. Think of the innovative inspirations and ideas and the intuitiveness that they bring through, and they're going to help their generation even sooner than those of us who maybe were in hiding and afraid to speak up and talk about things and the information we could have brought through to help others sooner.
Okay, so what inspired you? I know that you've got the skills and everything to teach people how to communicate better, but what inspired you? What really got you off that bench and said, I'm going to do it?
Absolutely. I mean, since this is more of a spiritual show, I'm happy to give you the full story. It's around 90 seconds. So this is the best way to share it. So I was watching this TikTok the other day, Michelle. Okay. And the TikTok was about Taylor Swift. For those who don't know, she's a musician. I'm sure most people who know Taylor Swift is. And the TikTok was about her winning the Woman of the Year award by Billboard. It's a music company. So she stands up on that stage. And in the last scene of her speech, she said something along the lines of this: your future Woman of the Year is 11 years old right now. She's sitting in a choir. She's playing piano. And we need to take care of her. And then the TikTok reverts. It kind of goes a few years into the forward, and it's like 2020 or something. And Billie Eilish wins Woman of the Year, right, by Billboard. She's like 17 years old. She's the youngest inductee in the history of Billboard. And she stands up on that stage, and she's got a big bulky jacket on. She's got a big bulky glass, and she's like, "Thank you so much, Billboard. It's great to be here." And she's like, 17. And then at the end of her speech, she says something that completely changes my life. And what she says at the end is the following: Taylor Swift a few years ago, when she gave her Woman of the Year speech, always resonated with me because when I watched that speech, I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
Right. And I was playing choir, and I was learning piano, and I always wanted to be a singer. So the only thing left I have to say, Billboard, is thank you for taking care of me. And then she walks off stage. And the reason that moment always sit with me, Michelle, is I asked myself this fundamental question: who's taking care of the next geniuses of our society, the next Elon Musk, the next yogi, the next superstar with their communication skills? And I realized that I was the only person in the world who was doing this, because I'm young enough to relate to those kids, and I'm old enough and mature enough and experienced to coach everyone else. So if I don't do it, no one else will. And that's why I decided to do this.
And you said yes.
The right time to write this book, primarily because what's going on in the world. The world's a mess, and there's a great change that's on its way. And I think it's time that people started learning some truths that have not been revealed, especially by the mainstream media.
You were born and raised in a certain country doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have to live there for the rest of your life. So it's all about freedom. It's all about democracy, freedom. We have a choice in life, and I want people to understand that we have a choice. You as individual, you have power. You have no idea how much power you have as an individual, and it's all about what do you want to do in life, and what is it that you have to do to get there, and you have a choice, and that's why I wrote the book, because we are living now in a global. We are having global changes all over the world, and immigration is a really, really hot topic. And people are relocating and immigrating all the time, and now it's easier to immigrate more than ever.
Appreciate you being on the show. What is something, your last inspiration, wise words that you have? What's one more thing that you can tell our listeners?
I have always been talking about it, and I will say it once again, that everyone should dream. You must dream of doing big things in life. Only when you dare to dream will you dare to achieve it. Don't think that life is, just eating, working, and sleeping. There's much more to it. You have a purpose why you came here, and dream big and do achieve it.
What advice would you give to these young ladies? Or how about this? What would you have told yourself as well, being younger?
Oh, wow. This is such a good question. I think first off, like, our body is just the way we experience the world. And our body is unique to what we have. It's a beautiful gift. And therefore, it's okay to look different to others. That's number one. Number two is, it doesn't matter what you look like at the end of the day. It's what you do with this life and what you do with your body. And that is powerful. And, no one's going to write on your memorial one day, or in your memorial letter, Stel was such an amazing person. She weighed X pounds or kilos, that's not what it comes down to. It's the contribution we make in this life. Mm-hmm. And physical appearance, even though we've been conditioned in this world that physical appearance, is our wealth almost. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with how we feel from the inside.
Absolutely.
We have I've met some amazing, beautiful, stunning human beings who felt so sad and empty on the inside. And that still knocked their confidence. That still did not bring them the partner that they wanted. That still did not bring them the happiness that they wanted in the world. So I think we need to start letting go of that attachment that your physical appearance, and especially your clothing size, is actually gonna, give you confidence.
Not connected with my true self. Mm-hmm. I was, too fast paced of a life, really, to slow down and connect. But now this journey I've been on have really allowed me to become self-aware of all the things that I am.
Right.
Which is really the purpose of becoming self-aware. And once we have that, excitement of learning more about who we truly are, mm-hmm. that's when we move into becoming sovereign. And you talked about codependency before, and that is really the shift from being codependent to sovereign in our own life.
Right.
Which is a huge thing. And it's not about separating ourselves from other people. It's not
what really inspires is the fact that I've been given a lot in life with regards to experiences and the people I've met. And what inspires me is the fact that I'm not allowed to hold on to this. I have to give it away. But the more I give away, the more that comes back to me. And it's just this reciprocal piece of gratitude that I hold. And I think that's what inspires me, is that these opportunities just emerge because you're out there doing things, but not with regards to ego, with regards to status, not regarding money. It just, these are things that I really enjoy doing, and I have so much fun doing it that it doesn't feel like work.
And I told him about the Ho'oponopono. Have you heard of Ho'oponopono?
I have, but go ahead and explain it to the listeners who have not. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a Hawaiian healing technique for the family. And you can do it with another person, or you can do it all by yourself. You don't need the other person, because what it does is it looses our binds to other people. We're bound to other people, and they are bound to push our buttons and make us sad, you know. Right. And so we can loose those binds so we're not attached to them in that way anymore. Maybe our relationship can change, or maybe, you know, we just need another relationship. But anyway, I told him about it, and it's you start out, I love you, and it's I love God, God loves me, God loves the other person loves God, and I love the other person, and they love me, if you can say it. I love you, I'm sorry. And it's not I'm sorry I did something, but I'm sorry the situation exists between us. Mm-hmm. And please forgive me for what's going on in me that caused me to attract this. I have a brokenness in me that caused me to attract this adversity with this other person. So, and then thank you for showing me this so I could heal. So if I didn't find this pain in my heart, I couldn't heal it. So thank you for showing me this. And then the big I love you again. I love God, God loves me, God loves the other person loves God, yada, yada, yada. And so this is like, you can use it for a soaking prayer. You just say it over and over again, and it just kind of soaks you. I know for me, I had a lot of adversity in my childhood, and which made me a sad person. So all my life I was attracting sad stuff because I was sad, and you know, what you give out, you take in. So I wasn't really aware that that was the problem, but I must tell you that that was the problem, that I was sending out bad vibrations and bringing in really crummy experiences all my life. And so when I heard about the Ho'oponopono and I could just release that, oh my gosh, it just changed my life.
I would just encourage people to try a daily dose of silence. And so what I mean by that is, whether it's centering prayer or some type of practice, try it for 30 days, make it the first thing you do in the morning, and maybe commit to 1 to 5 minutes, because I think that's doable. So make it the first thing you do, try it for 1 to 5 minutes, commit to 30 days. And then after the 30 days, kind of look back and reflect on, how did it go? And how did this practice go? And then maybe you'll want to continue, but try it for 30 days and take it in baby steps. Don't say, I don't think you have to do 30 minutes, because then you might decide, I don't want to do this. But if you try it for 1 to 5 minutes, you might decide, I love it, and I think I'm going to continue, and I'm going to just slowly increase the time.
Until the age of 57. I felt sorry for myself, and I felt, kind of like I was hard done by in some, obviously I was successful in some areas in my life, and those were good things from my perspective. But I felt really hard done by, especially, the things that I experienced as a child, and, kind of nicely blame those things and things. Today, I look back and I am grateful for everything that happened, because I know that we are here in this evolutionary process of the soul to learn the lessons that we need to learn, that we want to learn as a soul, to wake up to who we really are and begin this process to transcend our egos and come back to our truth. And so I have an entirely different perspective on it than I would have, 5-6 years ago.
And it's a quote that's by Nipsey Hussle. It's a rapper from South Central Los Angeles, but serial entrepreneur all in all. Rapping and clothing is his bread and butter, but that man he had his hands dipped in a lot of different fields. But the quote goes, long-winded, running through this life like it was mine, never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what's a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. So who would you want to define you? Someone else? Or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, give your heart to it and stay strong.
There's a lot that happened in my life. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned is that we could either succumb to all those adversities or we can overcome. And as I like to say, thrive from it. Not only survive, but thrive. So we are, as women of abuse, and I do make the distinction between abused women and women of abuse. As women of abuse, we are thrivers. We have overcome more than the average woman out there. And not to take away from the average woman, please don't misunderstand. But going through all those types of abuse is what makes us sassy. And I love sassy, okay? Sassy is an acronym. It stands for strong, assertive, smart, sexy, and
So I
independent.
said, let's just go walk down to the lake and walk down by the water. And so I said, okay. So we're walking. I'm not even kidding. As soon as we turned the corner of the laundromat, right there in front of me was an abandoned red couch, right? Just like I saw in my vision. And at that moment, I'm like, all right, I got it. There was my validation that I've been so searching for from external people that I just wasn't getting, that finally my dad, and I'm going to sign it to my dad, finally I got the message. He's like, this is your path. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And from then on, I was the red couch medium. That's it. I even took
love it.
Yeah. And I've seen red couches everywhere. I take pictures of them. One day I'm going to make a whole sofa table book of all the abandoned raggedy old couches that are out there in America. In the country. I got one in Costa Rica when I was there. So red couch became my thing with my dad. So that's the story of how
you gotta follow your instincts and you gotta follow your heart. If you got an idea and like me with the podcast, what? You want me to go live? No, this is a bad idea. This is a bad plan. But to take those ideas, because usually that's I think that spirit going, hey, it's time to get out there and do this. And there's so many times that we do get that nudge. We do get that, like, hey, go this direction, and we resist it, or we choose not to accept it, or we, find an excuse to say no. And so many times that's the thing that's going to bring so much in for you. And it's just like, by saying no, are you saying no just to the thing, but you're also saying no to everything else that's good and positive that can come from
one example of a tangible, spiritual, transformative experience. I was looking back at my home, again in the state of gratitude, and all of a sudden things started to go slow motion. And as I learned later on, most of my experiences are when I'm in a state of slow motion. It's almost like the air is like clear jello. It's just thick, and I'm just there. And all of a sudden a dragonfly circled me, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then there were 5 dragonflies. And again, I didn't think too much of that. But then right away, there were like 50 to 100 dragonflies circling me. And the message that I got, Barney, you're making a very big decision, and there will be consequences, but you are loved and supported, and you're on your journey.
And then I thought, if I only knew the future, and I thought, well, I know who does know the future, and that would be God. And that's when I started asking God, like, well, you know what really has to be done, because you know what the future holds, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how it started. The question started like this: what do I have to do today, God? And I had learned how to kind of pay attention to that still small voice, to that sense of prompting, that sense of what's right. So I could actually take a list and look at it and think, okay, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. And then he would add a couple of things, and it was to do something to help someone else. God, like, I don't know, stick one.
Thank you.
Yeah. make a few phone calls or something.
So when I work with people, it's not about changing or fixing things, but what just so happens to happen is as you let go of wanting that, it tends to happen in and of itself. Things just pass. Things resolve themselves. The heaviness that was there tends to dissolve when there's an embrace of it. So that's kind of more the approach that I take with people, is just, to use whatever's coming up as actually it's supposed to be there. It's coming, it's agitating you because there's agitation within you. It's not that it's triggering something within you. So let's make space for that and let it come up here and see what it has to say, rather than try to push it away. Because when you listen to it, when you hold out a space for it, it will come up. It will teach you, and it will just dissolve by itself.
First, you're the master. You're blank canvas, and then you create so far till it doesn't work anymore. You have to can complete it, and a lot of artists say that they did too much and then they destroyed it because they want to pack more in.
Right.
And to have that feeling, that interconnection that you have while you're painting, you're talking to your unconscious self. You have a conversation, and the product is the painting. The painting, the music, the poem is the result of the conversation that you have with your unconscious.
Very often, because I thought, so I'm a failure. I'm just a teacher. I can't do business. And then I developed this idea that it needs to come from within. You always should be guided by the joy, by something like a soul signature, something that really brings you joy. And as soon as you feel like this is so much hardship and I have to put on a mask again, you need to stop it.
Thank you to my guest for sharing their inspirations. The world is a better place because of you.